So, welcome to Propeligent Growth Podcast. I'm Jamal Hirani, founder of Propeligent. Today, we're focusing on a core challenge for every ambitious startup: scalability. Um, the topic is AI's role in startup scalability, and to help unpack this, I'm delighted to welcome a true expert in digital transformation and growth, Mark Arlinger. Mark is a founder and chief revenue officer at SeamGen. It's a leading digital product innovation agency, and with his extensive experience in building revenue engines and driving growth, Mark is uniquely positioned to shed light on how founders can harness AI to scale their operations, accelerate sales, and build a resilient business. So let's get started. Mark, thank you for joining us. Before we dive into AI, could you first tell us a bit about your journey as a founder and CRO at SeamGen?
Yeah, a little quick about my background. Uh, Actually, went to school for engineering, biomedical and electrical engineering. Started off as a scientist at General Atomics, doing some nuclear fusion research, and that kind of got me into software development. And I'm not going to date myself too badly, but let's just say I've been around since the my first computer was a Mac 2, and we'll go
Right.
with that. Uh, I've been around since the internet started. Watched things grow. Started SeamGen actually in parallel with Apple opening up the App Store. So back in 2007, and was one of the first top first 100 developers registered for building iPhone apps.
Right.
We initially started off as a mobile development company. We actually assisted Google in some early Android like lollipop builds and contributed to those. And along the way, from our beginning, we embraced cloud technologies.
Right.
One interesting thing I can always say is our company has never had anything more than a security appliance and a bunch of access points. Nothing on premise. Very cool from an IT perspective, that is, we have nobody.
Very good. So tell me, uh, um, scalability truly means to you in today's market. How does that perspective differ for a startup versus an established enterprise like yours?
Well, good question. I've written blog posts in the past about how to select a proper software development company. Uh, a lot of very large corporations tend to offshore a lot of their, I would call it support and maintenance work. Uh, I think we're talking about startups. So
Yes.
to me, that's 100% off the table. Never would go there. Having rescued, I don't even want to go there. A lot of projects that people tried to save money by going the cheap route, whether it's through something like Upwork and hiring individually or going offshore. To build an initial product, if that's your company and that's your company's only thing, you really need a lot of focus upfront. And upfront has nothing to do with development at all. It has to do with, uh, you know, really discovery, um, understanding, doing research, doing some workshops, building clients, doing user testing, having a design phase that has feedback, and really, no matter how technical you are, you're not going to know the right answer, because the right answer is always your clients are the right people, not you.
Right.
And so the clients need to help you define the project, and that's one of the things that have made us successful. Is um, we've got a very well defined process that always includes discovery and workshops, and making sure that we're not just talking with internal stakeholders, that we make sure there's external people involved, whether that's after a clickable prototype phase or not. but we want feedback, and we want to get the feedback before we get into the costly development phase, which is probably 5x more costly than the initial discovery and design
You
phase.
got it. Got it. Well, that makes sense. That really makes sense. So let's just kind of moving on to our kind of main topic. When you think about AI, where do you see the most immediate and impactful opportunities for startups looking to scale rapidly? And maybe it'll be great to understand how you have used AI over the past in terms of your business.
Yeah, so great intro. So first, I want to let you know that earlier this year, CDM was acquired by a company that completely focuses on AI. Their level of AI is much deeper than anything I've done. They do stuff on a manufacturing level, semiconductor stuff. But from a software design and development perspective, uh, I have everyone in our company now is now embraced AI first work methodology, and
Right.
so it starts off with design, and so it's kind of interesting because design methodologies have shifted a little bit. Part of a design process typically is creating some information architecture, creating some user flow diagrams, and it used to go into creating some low fidelity wireframes, and then creating some visual design and a design system. So with the advent of AI, and I don't want to specifically promote a product, but we use Figma, creating a design system up front, kind of when you're doing your branding, is super important. So when I say a design system, I'm talking about, you might go through and create two. So typically we'll go and create 2 to 3, uh, sample visual design pages, to get a client to, this is what we want to do. And extract out of those pages all the design elements, whether it be a checkbox, a button, a drop down list, or any kind of custom combination, element. Once we've got the design system complete, we can then easily use AI on the design stage to say, hey, go create us, we do a lot of healthcare work. So let me just throw this out there. Create me a claim form to submit a professional hit, 1,500 claim using this design system that we created. And it will completely output not only design, but the HTML and CSS, in kind of raw format. I would say from a design perspective, the productivity is amazing when, depending, especially if you have a legacy product. So
Right.
working with a lot of clients that have, old Visual Basic or Delphi based systems, and you can basically say, hey, convert all these screens in this application using this design system, and you probably gain 75% efficiency in the design phase. You're going to go through and tweak it, but I really was super impressed. I didn't think I would be, but really amazing stuff. My designers now crank out stuff, and even using third-party tools, like 4GL, things like OutSystems in their design. You can go just cursor in and say, "Hey, create me a page that's an approval page for some board of directors, whatever it is," and it does a pretty good job. Overall, I would say, I give AI 50%.
Right.
So when I say 50%, and this is on the design side, um, efficiency savings. So you're going to go through and tweak it. You're going to go through. You're going to change your cursor and re-input it and update designs. But from what I've seen, it's usually 2 to 3 iterations of the cursor input, and then some external tweaking. But then again, It really comes down to taking that back into your design system and saying, great. I mean, that's really the target, because everything that goes on the screen at the end of the day is an element of that design system. So it's kind of shifted to the design system needs to be, like I said, target 2 or 3 key pages, or what I call an Uber page that has everything on it that you possibly
Right.
want, and get those design elements created. And then you can use AI to rapidly create screens and user flow.
I mean, 50% efficiency is quite incredible. I mean, well done. I mean, that's a proper use of AI for increasing productivity. So, I mean, what are some of the most common pitfalls we've seen startups make when trying to use AI to scale? I mean, for example, is it about automating the wrong thing or focusing on vanity metrics over true operational efficiency?
So, having used, not personally, but my team, having used pretty much everything from Copilot, now we start off using Cursor from a development perspective.
Right.
Uh, I mean, the biggest deficiency is the same biggest deficiency teams have, well, at least in the past have had all along, is trying to go to development before they have approved designs. Number one, and the same concept, that I kind of went through on the design side is also true on the development side. You know, uh, whatever technology you use, whether it's .NET Core, Java, Spring Boot, Node.js, create a couple of model infrastructure. Here's my architecture. Here's my business layer, my API layer, presentation layer, whatever it might be, and have 2 to 3 examples that you can let your AI system learn how you like to code. And from there, it's just a matter of you can say, hey, look, now my screen designs are done. Say, hey, here's a screen I have. Here are the database tables related to the screen and the fields. Go generate me the APIs to populate these screens and do a complete CRUD interface. And so you really have to do some upfront work. You can't just
Right.
tell them to say, "Hey, go build me an app." Because you're just not going to get the proper architecture. But if you haven't, I think what's really the shift that I've seen is that on prior 10 years ago, I would have a tech lead, 2 senior developers, and maybe 2 junior developers on a project, and they would be, pretty much, aside from the tech lead, at the end of the day, 5 FTEs, to build something. Today, you need a really good AI cursor prompter,
Right.
mid-level engineer, and one tech lead to do the job of all those other people. I
Right.
mean, so yeah, from the development side, realistically, it's less efficient than the design side. I think I would say more of a 35 to 45% efficiency, based on what you're doing. But definitely, I mean, generating code Cursor first. I mean, Cursor is a great tool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And everyone here is forced to use that, when they start. But there's always tweaking and modeling and things that it doesn't handle. I won't get into all the super techie stuff, but in general, overall, if I combine, I would say it replaces on a project 1 to 2 FTEs.
Right. Okay. But then on the flip side of that means that you can actually deal with more clients and take on more clients, because you have more people that you can actually then be more efficient with, and provide more work, more clients, right? More revenue.
Well, I mean, from my perspective, it's a little different. From my perspective, it means I can offer my clients more for their money.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, it's like, so. Like finding resources and training resources is not an issue. There's obviously a big difference in cost. I mean, you're in London, we're in the US, so probably similar prices. New York City's in the middle, which is probably even higher, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of nearshore and offshore teams that are also embracing this technology. But really, it's like I said, the process of upfront, you know, doing discovery and workshops and really understanding their client needs, which ultimately drives success in a project.
Yeah,
Uh,
no. I mean, that kind of leads on to my next question, which was looking at the future, how do you see AI evolving the role of a chief revenue officer or a sales leader in a high growth company? Will AI replace people or fundamentally change the skills required for success?
so that's a very interesting question. I can probably tell you I get over 20 emails a day from companies that they say they're going to generate revenue through AI and blah blah blah. I challenge all of them and say, great, if you think you can do that, then do it on a performance model. I've yet to see. I mean, we weekly have demos with companies, and I'm not going to name companies we've talked to. But most of these companies are relying on email marketing. And, I personally think that is, a pretty dead marketing venue. Um, Ironically, when I talk to people, they think cold calling and calling people is dead. And to be honest, it's the most effective thing. And I actually have three outsourced companies right now doing email marketing, LinkedIn, SMS, and then one company using a platform that they claim is AI based to do cold calling. And I can definitely tell you, like I don't want to pronounce names because I don't know if I'm supposed to here, but I can tell you that I'm getting at least one meeting a week set up through the AI cold calling platform. But it's not AI. They're using real SDRs to make the phone calls. They're using
Right,
AI to determine who to call.
right,
And what's interesting about the platform is I put out what I want, the ideal kind of person, my company's ICP. Then people, whether they're in high school, college, or retired, can then respond with a little online interview and say, yeah, I can promote this and I can make phone calls and sell it. And it's all performance based. It's pretty amazing. I am super happy with it. But yeah, so to me, I don't think AI is going to solve, creating some AI email that pulls in info from LinkedIn and like Facebook and tries to make some personalized message is going to make a difference. I just don't see it. There's just too many emails going out these days, and LinkedIn would be an optimal platform, and we're using tools on LinkedIn, but that's very, very, very what should I say? Not tentative. Um, let's just say you have to do very, very little amounts so that you don't get blackballed or
yeah, 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 yeah. No, no,
blacklisted on email, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
there's not
yeah.
much you can really do there, but yeah, I'm waiting for that opportunity where LinkedIn messaging context could be driven by AI. Um, but yeah, and I'm certainly very optimistic that if companies find the right voice company to do AI, the AI phone calling can be very successful. I mean, it's funny because I talk to some that I just laugh at because you can tell right away they're AI. When someone really figures out you know a good AI solution for phone calling, I think that's going to be the winner.
I agree. I agree. I agree with you. Um, okay. So the role of the CRO is currently safe.
I would say so.
Okay, good. For our listeners, many of whom are founders, What's one piece of strategic advice or a final takeaway you would give them about preparing the business and the team for an AI-driven future of scalability?
Start using it from the get go across the board, and force everyone to use it. Don't give them an option. Uh,
Right.
that's the only advice I could give is just there's no other option. Is it's AI first, and everyone will very quickly learn. There's a lot of resistance because there's a lot of people that think AI is going to replace my job. But the reality is the people that are going to succeed are the people that embrace it and the people that start using it and learn how to use it in the most effective manner. So, there's that, like, it's just force them to use it. No other option. It's like, that's no coding before you do AI. And
All right.
go from there. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I think that is a very good, um, a very good strategic advice for founders. Mark, first of all, thank you very much for your time and for sharing these incredible insights. It's truly been a valuable discussion. If people want to get in touch, I'm going to put in the show notes your LinkedIn if they want to get in touch with you or access to your website, and so they can contact you. Is there any other things you'd like to add before we close this off?
Thanks for inviting me. This is the first podcast I've done. I hope I exceeded or met your expectations, and
Fantastic.
everyone have a great day.
No, fantastic. It was great, and thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Okay, have a good one.